New York's Attorney General is trying to dissolve the NRA. Letitia James has sued the NRA for multiple alleged violations of New York State's charity laws. James says NRA leaders, including its frontman Wayne LaPierre, spent several $million of the NRA's money on personal stuff,
including for lavish trips for themselves and their families, private jets, expensive meals, and other private travel.
James also says LaPierre gave himself a post-employment contract worth $17 million without board approval. South Carolina Democratic Congressman Jim Clyburn says he thinks President Trump may refuse to leave the White House when his time in the Oval Office comes to an end. Clyburn told TMZ he thinks Trump has made his feelings very clear.
This guy intends to install himself under the emergency powers or whatever he can use to be president for life.
Clyburn says military leaders may have to physically remove President Trump from the White House, whether he loses the election in November or gets reelected and has to leave in another 4 years. Earlier this week, Clyburn also said he feels very strongly that Trump is like the fascist leader Mussolini and Putin is Hitler. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. A crash from a 5.
First, we're going to go take your two computers.
That's going to be right before you get to Florence. Looks like only the right lane is available right now, so things are really heavy as they're coming away from just about Rosecrans. Also, you're going to see some delays outside of the 5 in between Rosecrans Boulevard and the 2, and then again from about Paramount over to the 605. Seeing heavy delays in downtown LA, 110 northbound side transition to the 101 north. Got a stalled car in the right lane of that connector road, so things overall pretty busy from the 10. Also heavy delays both directions along the 101. The northbound side slows down from the 110 over to about Alvarado, with southbound delays from Melrose over to Alvarado, although no reports so far of any crashes. And things are heavy coming out of Riverside, 91 freeway westbound side from Tyler. That stays busy into Corona to about Lincoln. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jay Lewis.
Brought to you by the Cunning Dental Implant Center.
Cooler temperatures ahead next.
Things we think about today are very different than they were just a few months ago.
So our feelings.
Feelings are crazy, are they not? I mean, listen, if a meteor strikes and destroys half the planet,
Yes.
we're like, oh, really? It must be Thursday then. When the unexpected happens, you can always count on the accident attorneys at Sweet James.
If I was ever hurt in an accident
Or a meteor strike.
I know I would call Sweet James right away. Why chance it with any other lawyer? The call is free, the consultation is free. They are available anytime you need them, and the person on the other end of the phone is ready to help.
You're always going to get justice with the accident attorneys at Sweet James. It's the name to trust.
I was just going to say that who you hire as a lawyer matters.
Right.
Because results matter.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Did you see the Sweet James logo on the side of the NBA courts, by the way?
Oh, yes.
Darn tootin'. If you've ever suffered a serious injury, you have one chance to get the help, to get your life back on track, and that's by calling the attorneys at Sweet James. Everybody's seen the
Darn
tootin'. Who will have your back right now means
A lot of change right now, but one thing has never changed. Sweet James is there when you need them. The one we trust the most, the People's Accident Attorneys awarded Best Attorneys of America, Sweet James.
800-500-5200. That's 800-500-5200 or sweetjames.com. Sweetjames.com.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know. Today's subject, transmissions.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions. That we have over 50 years experience rebuilding and replacing transmissions. And that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty. Keep your eyes on the road and your ears open for another episode of AMCO's Bet You Didn't Know.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
The KFI Financial Report brought to you by Bay Alarm. The Dow is up 82 points. S&P up 10. NASDAQ up 67. Gold is...
Come on!
Oil 42.03 a barrel.
The KFI Money Report is brought to you
Does
by
it have
Bay
to
Alarm.
take
On duty
all
today
year to
and
get
every day for over 70 years.
a mile
Visit BayAlarm.com to get protected today.
Gee.
Today will be the coolest day of the week. Expect afternoon
Lord.
sunshine with highs in the 70s and 80s from the coast to the deserts. It'll be windy for the deserts with gusts up to 45 miles per hour. This is Belen de Leon with NBC4's Today on LA.
It's 71 degrees in Newport Beach, 75 in Lake Forest, 75 in Corona, and 69 in Toluca Lake. We lead local live from the
I have
KFI
an
24-hour
appointment
newsroom.
at
I'm Leila
20
Muhammad.
after. If you don't mind. I could sit here all day.
They smell.
Oh, and they just reek. And all you hear,
Can't do anything with them.
all you hear at night is the licking. Just the little mouth noises that come out of them.
And so that they're like, well, let's teach the puppy how to roll over.
Okay, we got a freeway here.
So the reaction, by the way, is that the National Rifle Association has filed a countersuit against the state of New York.
Okay.
We'll get into more of that later in Swamp Watch, I believe, but the state attorney general for New York has filed a lawsuit against the National Rifle Association and 4 of the people at the very top of that lobbying organization, accusing them of using NRA funds for lavish personal trips, contracts for associates, questionable expenditures, millions of dollars.
Well, Eric Garcetti said that water and power could be shut off to homes that throw large parties in violation of the coronavirus health and safety order by the county. Well, hours after Eric Garcetti put out the preemptive punishment claim, there was a large wedding that police responded to in the Holmby Hills neighborhood at a mansion. About 10 to midnight, LA police received noise complaints from neighbors. A guest at the wedding told CBS LA, social distancing, washing hands, temperatures, masks, elderly separated, everything was according to standard.
Except the fact that you had more people than you're supposed to in one place. They had been postponing this wedding a few times before it was being held on Wednesday. We know people who have been married in the midst of this, right?
Yes.
Nick and his beautiful wife Jazz got married. I loved the ceremony.
It was a great ceremony, really well done.
It was America's last wedding
It was.
before the coronavirus hit. And then some guy named Blake that we know got married, but had to change all of their...
He got married in the forest.
Now, you're getting married at a mansion in Holmby Hills. You have the ability to put that off. Just put it off.
Well, they said that the wedding had been postponed a few times, right?
Give them, postpone it again.
I have a question about the mayor's threat to shut off water and power.
people or organizations or groups who own these homes and rent them out specifically for parties like this, that's perfectly fine. That's totally acceptable, and I get it. But what about the one-off? What about the Airbnb where you get a house somewhere in, I don't know, Santa Monica, and you say, I'm bringing 100 of my closest friends together, and it would meet that criteria to where police would come in and they'd say, that's a large party you got there, Bob. And Bob says, yeah, it's the 7th one in 10 days. And they say, well, that's bad news. We're going to have to shut off your water and your power sometime in the next 48 hours. That's okay. I'll be gone by then.
Right. It doesn't... Nothing. That's not a punishment. All right.
Large house parties.
Coming up next, we will have...
house parties. Large house parties.
We will have your chance at $1,000.
There were times in college when large house parties, when I would go to large house parties.